Hello, Julio here. Welcome back to Have a Go, Spaghettio. Today's topic is called Shouldhood. It's an expression or a term used by Albert Ellis, creator of rational emotive behavior therapy. And Shouldhood describes a place where we go psychologically in our heads, where we tell ourselves, or we think in shoulds, oughts, and musts. So I should do better. You should treat me well. Life should be easy. So shouldhood is where we go when we're not thinking in a self-helpful way. In terms of Have a Go Spaghettio, we're not using our success helper or brain friend way of thinking. So we revisit an expression or a quote from Douglas Adams, who said that everything we see or hear or experience in any way at all is specific to you, to us. We create a universe by perceiving it. So everything in the universe we perceive is specific to us. So in terms of Have a Go Spaghettio, we want to teach children that the way they see themselves, the world and others is a construct. It's something that they build inside their minds, and we can develop healthy success helper, brain friend ways of thinking, or success stopper, brain bully ways of thinking. So Albert Ellis, who created rational emotive behavior therapy and whose work Have a Go Spaghettio is based, coined this quotation, this phrase, one of many, many insightful and quirky and amusing statements. Shouldhood leads to shithood. You cannot be a shit without a should. The idea here is that if we use the brain bully belief that I can be a word ascribed me, if someone calls me a name, or I decide that I am a particular name that I call myself, it's an irrational construct. It's an irrational way of seeing things, because our self is made up of so many qualities, characteristics, capabilities, traits, to extract one from them all and then decide it describes us globally is not a very self-helpful way to think. So in terms of Have a Go Spaghettio, we're talking about brain friend thinking, particularly the I'm worthwhile crocodile way of thinking. The belief that I can't be a shit, or I can't be a word ascribed me. I'm okay no matter what, and Albert Ellis called this unconditional self-acceptance. So through Have a Go Spaghettio, we want to help children develop unconditional self-acceptance, which is I'm worthwhile crocodile thinking. So if we think in shoulds, and if our self-talk is predominantly made up of shoulds, I should, you should, it should, it leads us to a place called, psychologically speaking, shithood, as coined by Dr. Ellis. General semantics theory, which heavily influenced Albert Ellis's thinking and helped him to develop his REBT theory and his ABC theory of emotional disturbance, posits that the word is not the thing. You know, I cannot be a word ascribed me. If I do believe, I go to that place called shithood that Ellis described. The map is not the territory. If in my head I'm constructing a world as I perceive it, that is not an accurate reflection or representation of the world at large. In other words, if my map is very, very different to the reality of the world that I experience, then I'm setting myself up for problems, or upsetness, as Dr. Ellis called it. So general semantics says let's construct a map or a way of seeing things that best approximates the reality of our existence, and that's characterized by preference thinking. I prefer, I did well in my test. I'll review it and try again. However, my failure or success is not me. I'm okay no matter what. That's I'm worthwhile crocodile thinking. That's success helper thinking, that's brain friend thinking. Shithood is where I go when I think in shoulds, oughts and musts, when that's characteristic of the way that I view myself, the world, other people. I should have done better, I'm a failure. So the idea that I have done something not as well as I could have, that somehow that determines my worth as being unworthy or I'm worth less, is a success stopper, brain bully way of thinking. It's the antithesis of I'm worthwhile crocodile thinking, and it causes us harm, psychological harm, emotional harm. We make behavioral choices perhaps that aren't helpful to us and others. So okay thinking, rational thinking, success helper, brain friend, we're okay. Shithood is when we think in oughts, musts, shoulds. In my neck of the woods, an expression that's often used and you hear quite often is that something or someone gives me the shits. In other words, something outside of myself is causing me to feel as I feel. So when I thought about the word shits following the theme of shithood as developed or created by Dr. Ellis, I came up with this expression of definition of sustained habits of irrational thinking syndrome. Sustained habits of irrational thinking syndrome is when we think in oughts, shoulds and musts. When I think I should do well at everything I attempt to do, that people I like should like me, and if they don't, I'm unlikable, that the world should be easy. If I don't have all these conditions met, then, life's a shit. I'm in shithood, psychologically speaking. So sustained habits of irrational thinking syndrome is when I think in shoulds, oughts and musts. And in terms of have a go spaghettio, it's when I use success stopper or brain bully thinking. And when I do that, or when I construct these ideas, this fixed mindset of musts, oughts and shoulds, it stops me from being my optimum best, and it causes unnecessary upset, or as Albert Ellis calls it, upsetness. So, shithood's characterized by fixed mindset thinking, intractable thinking, absolutist thinking. I don't always, but sanity and general semantics, Alfred Korzybski talks about rational thinking helps us to remain relatively sane. Is thinking characterized by preferential thinking? I don't always have to get my way. I prefer you liked me, but if you don't, it's unfortunate. It's not the end of the world. I expect challenges. I don't expect life to be easy for me. And when challenges befall me, I don't believe that it's so bad that I can't handle it. And I'm always worthwhile, irrespective of how well other people might esteem me or how well or badly I might do at a task. Shithood, however, is characterized by intransigent thinking, absolute thinking, thinking in musts, oughts and shoulds, fixed mindset qualities. I should get what I want. You must like me, respect me, esteem me. Life should be easy. If these conditions aren't met, I really can't stand it, and it's so awful. I just can't handle things. And also the idea that if I don't live up to my unrealistic expectations of myself and of the world and of others, don't deliver to me what I believe I must get, things are bad, I'm bad, life's bad, you're bad, everything's bad. So that characterizes shithood. Sanity, on the other hand, is characterized by preferential, rational, success helper, brain friend ways of thinking. And of course, shithood's characterized by brain bully thinking in terms of have a go spaghettio, teaching and learning. Have a go spaghettio wants to teach our young learners that to develop a virtual map, a way of seeing things that is in the main rational. It approximates reality. That's what Alfred Korzybski calls sanity, sane thinking. When we think in oughts, shoulds, and musts, which is termed irrational thinking by Albert Ellis, Korzybski calls this unsanity. It's not sane to think in those ways. It's important to differentiate between Korzybski's definition of insanity. Insanity is irrational ways of thinking. Insane is something completely different, and we're not talking about insanity here, but we're talking about unsanity, when we don't think in ways that we could think. We can think differently if we choose to think differently, or if we learn to think differently. And of course, Alfred Korzybski developed general semantics, which influenced the work of Albert Ellis, and it also underpins the ideas put forth in the Have-A-Go-Spaghettio approach to social emotional learning. Korzybski said famously, "The map is not the territory, the word is not the thing it describes. Whenever the map is confused with the territory, a semantic disturbance is set up in the organism. The disturbance continues until the limitation of the map is recognized." So Alfred Korzybski is saying that semantic disturbances can be fixed if we start to think about our thinking and to replace irrational, unsane thinking with more rational ways of thinking. Now, our children, early childhood children, they can't think about their thinking, but we can deliver the tools and help them develop the awareness and the intuition needed to challenge and change irrational brain-bully thinking. And when they get to the level of when they get older, they'll be able to do that when they get to the stage of metacognition, according to Piaget's theory. So here we are in the early childhood setting, helping children learn about the skills, understanding that thinking, feeling, and behaving are connected, and that their rational thinking or success helper thinking is helpful and causes helpful emotions and behaviors. And brain bully thinking, success stopper thinking, is irrational and stops us from achieving our goals in life. We revisit here the Have-A-Go-Spaghettio chart here with its 6 competencies, capabilities we teach the children, each underpinned by rational mindset or success helper, brain friend ways of thinking. These help children manage themselves successfully, especially when they have challenges to meet. And of course, we constantly remind our young learners that they're always worthwhile no matter what. That's unconditional self-acceptance, which is I'm worthwhile crocodile thinking. That's a rational perspective on the self. It's a brain-friend way of thinking. Of course, the opposite of that, the antithesis of that, is I'm not worthwhile, or I'm only worthwhile if other people say I am. So this is the chart that delivers in the early childhood context to our young learners that rational thinking is helpful. They cannot be any word ascribed them, that they're always okay no matter what, and they can learn competencies and reinforce competencies and practice competencies that help them enjoy their life, to thrive, to achieve their goals, and to meet challenges in a healthy manner. We finished this video with revisiting our Have-A-Go-Spaghettio song. Children particularly like this. We sing it at the beginning of the day, and it projects success, or it projects the idea that we can enjoy our day, that we can anticipate positives, good things that will happen, but we can also expect that maybe there will be some not so good things, but we will be able to manage ourselves successfully, because at the end of the day, we're unconditionally self-accepting, we're always worthwhile crocodile. And Have a Go Spaghettio is all about helping kids achieve their best, to be their best, to be happy and to be successful. If you like this video, please give us the hands up or the thumbs up, and also your comments would be useful for me. And if you do put any of these ideas in practice, it would be good to know how you go. So until next time, have a go Spaghettio and give it a try, banana pie. All the best.